We are honored to showcase a passionate developmental pediatric psychologist and a corporate trainer. She supports children of the new world and follows an eclectic, holistic healing approach by borrowing our collective knowledge of child psychology, human development, spirituality, sociology, religion, and modern astrology. She is Dr. Manpreet Kaur, representing India. Her session title is Happiness Curriculum. Hello, Dr. Manpreet. How are you?
Hi, Anusha. I'm good. How are you?
We are good and we are ready for your session. The stage is yours, Dr. Manpreet.
Thank you very much, Anusha. Hi, everybody. And thank you very much for joining. And I'm super excited for this session. It's actually the first time that I am globally talking about this happiness curriculum, which I have had the privilege to work upon since so it actually started as an idea back in 2011, when I was working with kids in tribal regions of India. So that's where, and then, it built upon the need to understand kids at a very basic level in Indian context. So that was the need for, many people that time in the sphere of education or as parents, and in these areas where they didn't even know that there's something called psychology, and then on top of it, then you can really leverage certain things which we studied at Delhi University at that time. So I tried to back then tried to be one man army. And I was like, how can I really support these kids? So I'm just, taking you all to back in the days when I was doing my master's and I really wanted to do something for the kids. It's just, that happens to all of us, I guess, all of us who are in the education system. We really want to do something. We really want to make an impact, not for ourselves, but for the future generations. So that's from where it all stems. So, and it started as, as an opportunity to understand kids in the tribal and rural areas. So from there on, since 2013, so I got a major project in the central part of India with tribal rural children. While working with I would say the state government and then the NCRT, and then I found out that there is such a need for what I am doing, not just in the areas which don't know much about what is child psychology, but even in the allied schools, that there is a huge need. So now it's something that we call DEI and belongingness. So, diversity, equity, inclusiveness, and belongingness. So that kind of a need is encompassed in this happiness curriculum. What we try to do through this curriculum, in a way, when I'm saying it's something like back in the days, Dalai Lama, His Holiness Dalai Lama had suggested in the he suggested that we should have something like this in the education system. So at that time, this name wasn't adapted as such. It was called Loculum. So I would like to share my screen with you to just give you what is Loculum. Here, just a moment. Yeah, so can everybody see my screen?
Yes, we can. Thank you, Dr. Manpreet.
Thank you, Anusha. So loculum is a word that is derived from Latin language, and it means, I'll show it to you here, it means the art actually of communication. So the language, the discourse, the conversations that we have. So we leverage the need and skill we all have of communication to understand kids, to help kids, bringing out their experiences within the classroom setting, at home, even in the, even in positions where otherwise kids' voices are not heard. What I mean by that, in the national forums within India. So it all began as an idea to really support the kids in the underprivileged sections of the society, where we could really, bring in the knowledge of, the international, global knowledge at a level where they really need it. So what we were studying at that time was the dissemination of information. Now, how do we do that without actually immersing ourselves? So as teachers, as parents, as anybody who is involved in the education system, all of us are in fact the stakeholders in the education system. So how can we really make sure that the future generations are healthier? We had our experiences, and everybody's carrying, especially in India, and I've seen that across the globe, more or less, we can really see. And today, how education influence came into being, how their mission, goals, their whole idea of providing free education. They dedicated this time of the year to empathize with those areas, with those kids, with those individuals, with everybody who is involved with the future. Everybody who's involved with the future, they want to serve them. So there's this huge need to serve. That is one of the basic things of this happiness curriculum. We really need to be able to empathize. Now, that is not easy, definitely, especially when as educators, as psychologists, and I've also worked as an educator, and especially during the first 6 years, I just, ensured that I'm in the classroom. I'm leading classrooms so that I know what happens inside, and I'm not, somebody telling people from outside that, this is how you should do with the kids. This is what you should do. This is how teachers should talk. They should not talk. This is how administrators should do. So I just immersed myself in the classrooms back then. That's where we got to understand, we got to train 8,000 plus kids, adults. Now that included many people from many different areas. Many schools as well. So they really, initially, I must say that I had to hide my real longing to understand kids. The longing was mine, and the need for the schools was to engage kids in a manner that makes them happy. So that's where I eventually, after 6 years, we realized that whatever, inoculum is, it's difficult to pronounce. And then we have to really explain people that what is it that, and in a nutshell, His Holiness had already said. And it's like, it's like sinking in perfectly. So that's where the happiness curriculum name came into being. This was part of my research for all these years, and that's where we rigorously did the assessments. That is the core of how we work with organizations. Now, today, this happiness curriculum is not restricted to the education system in that sense, that it is only limited to schools. We have taken it beyond that. And I must say that the inner child, like all of us have it. And I must say the way Anusha conducts her storytelling sessions, that beauty that she brings in, the childlike happiness, I think that's something that every one of us need, especially during the pandemic. I mean, the sessions that they ran, she and it was marvelous, I must say. At that time, it was like, even I was not able to do these things, and I felt a sense of envy, I must say that, on the public portal, that yes, I did. And that's what made me realize that how human it is to feel disconnected. And yet, in a way, it connects you if we are just ready to be open to accept our shortfalls. And these are some of the things which are a part of this happiness curriculum. As you can see on the screen, that we believe language is what caters to everything. Without language, we cannot really do anything. Now, whatever language that we use, eventually we do aim to bring in the sign language, but for now it's restrictive. This curriculum is restrictive in that sense, but we are able to bring in, like, that's the first thing you would say, that this came out through these 8 years of research, that happy kids learn faster. It's, again and again, through all the schools, through all the kids that we work with, there's a rigorous assessment, the pre-assessment, in the middle we do the assessment, and there's a post-assessment to find out what we are doing, where is it going, are we lagging behind? Again, are the kids lagging behind? Are we running too fast? Are the teachers not able to cope up? Is the school principal involved? They feel that yes, something is happening which is helping them reach their goals. So to really have every school has their own, every organization has their own ecosystem. How Gavin and Anusha are developing this education influence. There's this system. Everybody, I must say, they feel included. They feel that they are seen, and that basic need of seen is a part of this curriculum. Every teacher is trained. Train is a very not exact word, because who are we to train another human being? We can't train anybody. That in that sense is what I understand, unless they want to. So it's like a give and take. It's a mutual respect. So that's another part, another very important factor. So if we don't have respect for each other, we can't learn from anybody. Kids won't learn from us, and that's the goal. But then how to inculcate that sense of respect? That is through empathizing with them. That is through seeing them the way they are, at least trying. And kids are amazing healers. We have tried and tested it a lot in a way that I can say it out loud today, that we can leverage kids' beauty as the healing capacity that it carries within, the collective healing capacity that the kids carry within the classroom. Now, that classroom could be anywhere without physical boundaries. This whole collectiveness that we have, when we leverage that, it really increases, it enhances their academic performance, to say the least. And if that is what is the focus of anybody, they'll see those results. And how? There will be assessments that will be conducted. Now, that's one of the major that's a core pillar of happiness curriculum. Another one is, it's like there are some clients who wanted us to, as I mentioned earlier, that they wanted their kids just to be happy. They wanted that kids should have fun. There are so many subjects that they are studying, and they are not able to, schools and the board members, they felt that we are not able to provide what maybe the kids and the parents are looking for. So what is it that you can do? So there were some inquiries like that, but then there were some who were like straightforward. We want kids to learn XYZ content, and how can you help us with that? That's where the next challenge came to us. That was back in 2017. Yeah, 17, when they said that there was one major school, and they said, we don't want extra things. We just want you to help us, help our teachers, language teachers, to execute whatever you do in a manner that it doesn't bother us. It doesn't, involve the extra burden that for us or for the system as a whole, or not even for the teachers. That's like, okay, this is a new challenge. Then how do we, not coming up as an extra person, but being involved in the everyday activities of the teachers that they already have. It's like, we don't want anybody else from outside. So that's where it's like, how can we do that? So at their own curriculum, like in India, we follow, CBSE curriculum, then we have state boards, and then we have ICSE. In every way, we found that, yes, it is possible. And that's where we customize the whole curriculum, the happiness curriculum, to that particular school's need. And that's what I think overall that I want to really say about happiness curriculum is it is so customizable that parents are able to use it at home. Like during the pandemic, I was like very, very anxious that how am I going to do this now? I had been doing this in the physical sessions now. There were foreign experts involved in the sessions, online and offline, but then I did not do it online. And we saw that it is pretty much possible. And I must say at that time, Gavin and Anusha were quite inspiring. There were a couple of more people on the, I had my baby at that time, my firstborn in 2020. And I was like, how am I going how am I going to take my career forward? Now, what is going to happen? Like, is it like that new mother at a loss situation that I had? And that's again where it's like, oh, it is so customizable that I can use it at home with myself. And that's where this whole idea of including homeschooling into the happiness curriculum. So in the happiness curriculum, this curriculum can be a part of every household. And what do? This simple exercise, like one of the very simple exercises, like the breathing exercises. We encourage and we set triggers for teachers in the school setup, for administrators, for parents, grandparents, and kids at home, that there are triggers that you can set. So sorry. So sorry. Yeah. So everybody can set triggers. So we help them understand the triggers. So we use psychology, and then we leverage. So we take deep breaths. It's as simple as taking deep breath and then increasing the oxygen in the brain, and we are better emotionally able to manage the situations. And it's like there is so much that we can do that I must share it publicly. Till now, I hadn't in this form. So that's where the third pointer comes in, which is very light. This is super light. There's no something that extra. It's like basic human nature. Getting back to ourselves is one of the core pillars, one of the core principles, whatever you want to call it. It's like we don't want to limit it to the language that we provide. It's about the ones who are using it. Important for that matter. So, and we had lots of fun, I must say. We had lots and lots of fun with what we did. It was just some of the photographs that, and I must say in the setup, in the school setup, when we have done this, we got huge feedback from, like, I didn't look for it myself or my team, the schools got the feedback that their kids are so happy when they come back home. And, why don't you run these sessions every day? And that's where the whole, I would say that I realized that no, that's not right. That was one point, that we run these sessions for twice or maximum thrice a week. We can't have this, like as outsiders, we can't be providing this. It costs a lot to the schools, and in any which way, schools are not the business centers. So how to do that? And that's where the teacher training came into the picture, that what if we empower these teachers themselves and they run the show? So 2017 onwards, we started really empowering the school itself to be able to be, as a system, be better. And if we drill them down to their clients, which is the kids and the teachers, how can they be better in the classroom? How can they be happy? And it's fascinating to see how every classroom and every teacher, the teachers who rotate also, they create that system of happiness is very a small word, I must say, in that sense, because happiness is fleeting. We all know we are happy right now, then we might not be the very next moment. That's how we are as humans. This is who we are. So what else is left? So every classroom, every teacher create their own definition of happiness and connection. Another very big factor is connection. If the teachers or anybody for that matter is not able to connect, I mean, we know how it ends. It usually ends. But then when we are able to connect, no matter how, or how long, how short, whichever way, there is a memory that we leave behind. And that memory serves as a key to happiness. So if that's all that we can do, like through today's session, this what can I do in this short time of span? But what I can do is just leave one moment, maybe if possible, of that memory which you're gonna carry with yourself. A part of me that you will carry with yourself. You might shred it off, but it still will hold that space. So if we can have that kind of an understanding, and we can carry that understanding that we are leaving our, not just the carbon footprints on Earth, we are leaving footprints, our footprints on the memory of each of the person that we are interacting with, no matter which way it is, then I think we all will be a little more aware, not cautious. Cautious can really, we can really topple it off. It's difficult, to really balance everything out. So if we can just be aware that whatever I'm doing, it's going to leave an impact, no matter how big, small, or whatever. And that really revolutionized this whole system that I had been creating. I mean, I was researching, I was practicing. It was very much driven by my own need to understand the basic human nature. And in the end, I found out that, I mean, everybody says that our ancient scriptures have said, our elders have said, the piece of wisdom that everybody is a child within. And in the basic sense, all of us want to be seen. Just want to be seen. We don't want anybody to change us. We don't want others to, poke and say that, this is what you need to change and all that. We just first want, the basic need is we want to be seen as who we are. Whatever we are. That I have seen through. So I really wanted to show the results, but then because of the sensitivity of the data, I am not able to. Maybe in another forum, I'll be able to sometime. That basic awareness itself creates a ripple effect within ourselves. And that's the whole focus of this happiness curriculum. It's not about others. It is about yourself first. If you are able to feel connected, if you see this, you are able to feel that, yes, I am seen. Yes, I am understood, not by others, by ourselves. And as adults, as kids, if we can, provide them with the opportunity to be who they are. Like one of the very, it's only after becoming a parent myself that is like, I have been recommending it to all the kids, all the children and teachers and parents, and I knew that it was very challenging, but that's where I really saw it. So what I mean to say is, I used to say it to the kids, and they would be like, "Whoa, what are you saying? How is it possible?" Our parents say that don't be naughty, and you say that it's good to be naughty. How is it good to be naughty? How can you say that in the classroom to us? Nobody wants us to be naughty. it's good to be naughty. We all need to be naughty. Then only we can really be ourselves. Now, when we are there's a thin line between being naughty and hurting somebody. So if our naughtiness is hurting somebody, it's crossing a boundary, that's when it is not right. So you can be naughty. Oh, we had so much fun in the classrooms, I must say then. And that's something that when I did it with my own kid at home, he's 2.5 now. And yeah, he's more than 2.5. He's going to be 3 next February. He calls me Miss Andy. And that's when the kids, came up with the name that, I said that you can't call me a ma'am and then we can't be friends. How can we can be friends? I'm not your teacher. I'm not teaching you anything. We're just being who we are. That's it. So I saw that, my kid also picked that up at home. He calls me Miss MP. And that's the name that, these kids that I was working with in the tribal region, they came up with that, we can't call you MP. Because then again, that's where the Miss came into picture, and I wasn't married at that time. Kids said that this is how Indian culture is. Anusha would understand that we can't call somebody, especially somebody who's elder, by their name. So what is to be done? Initially, I must say, I was a little pushy. I said, no, I don't want you to call me ma'am. Please call me by my name. And these were adolescent kids in tribal region. I said, no, we cannot. And we had a fight. I must say, I had a fight with adolescents. I was 22, and we had a fight in the classroom. That no, it's not. And these were all girls. Like, we can't call you by your names. Like, no, you have to. Because I am not your teacher, and I don't feel like a teacher of you or somebody that call ma'am. At least I don't feel that. So that's why I said we'll have to find a way. We can't call you that. There's a middle ground where we found. Like, call you just you had a you Miss MP, and that's where this whole name, and I have been carrying it, and I must credit them for the name. And it really relates. Even after completing my PhD, and it's like no, like yes, in the adult setup, yes, it is documentary. But everybody who is here, and especially Anusha here right now, and Gavin, when they see it, they will understand that doctors is not something that kids would be happy talking to in the general setup. It's like somebody would they're calling them doctor is not something that we relate to. So that's where we carried the Miss MP part of it. And whoa, it's been amazing. I wanted to quickly share a poll now that we have quite a few participants, and on my screen I am sharing this poll. If you can just scan it, and if we can have just a quick activity, not very, it's like just something. I've been talking all this while, and that's not how we run our sessions, because this is more like a presentation. So it's like, yeah, we have to talk. It's like engagement, having fun, smiling, laughing. It's about that. Can everybody is everybody able to scan the poll? Oh, somebody said that they're not able to scan. So
Ladies and gentlemen, I have shared the poll link of Dr. Manpreet's in the
Thank you
chat
very
box.
much. And Anusha, please call me MP.
Sure, MP. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope. Is it done? Is it like everybody done? Done. Okay. I'll also share this one. Where did it go? Yeah, it's here. If anybody wants to access the link to this page, then they can do that too. Awesome. So overall, how included do you feel? I mean, you know, for everybody, I'm sure it would be different. And right now we want to run the QA session as well. So I'll keep that with me, and then maybe we'll discuss this poll some other time if possible. So if you can just, if you just Google hashtag talk to Miss MP, you'll find my Google page, and then you'll find a little more information on my background, on what all that I do, how I do and stuff. And I'm sorry, I get, so there's this email that Anusha had sent me to tell me about myself, and I was like very honest. It's very difficult for me to talk about myself, like what all do I do, and my introduction is one of the most difficult thing that I have done apart from giving exams in my school years. It's like it's one of the very difficult things for me. How can I talk about myself that in a sense that. So yeah, this is something that you can, and it would be wonderful if you would be interested in providing your feedback and to thank you. I'll share this one with, I'll share the feedback link with everybody, and then we can quickly run the QA session. So it would be amazing if you can provide your honest feedback, maybe what you have written here in the chat itself. Anusha, are we going to save this chat? Is it possible to save the chat?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, thank you very much. There's such lovely things that, there are suggestions, and there are lovely feedback that I've received. And if I can, somebody can provide their feedback on my Google page, that would be amazing as well. So thank you very much. And I'm very happy to take questions or suggestions or anything that you have to say.
Thank you very much, MP, for your innovative concepts connecting curriculum and happiness. That was really amazing. And we do have people tuning in all over the world for you. And ladies and gentlemen, please register your questions in the chat box. We have another 20 minutes for MP session. So I do have a query for you, MP, while we wait for the others. My query is that your session was amazing, and there is no point arguing with you. It was just like phenomenal. But the issue is it's like normally it's to secure the sustainable and deeper happiness through the curricula and classroom at a time when children at most schools are stigmatized for not memorizing information properly, not securing the expected grade, the xenophobic atmosphere around them, and educational institutions are competing, out there to sell the, the packaged commodity or called knowledge skills in the market. It's just these aspects that are really, really gravely present at the moment. So what's your take on that? Thank you, Andy.
I thought you're gonna use the word ridiculous in the end. Yeah, and why am I laughing? Because I can so relate to what you're saying, and that the need of the hour to address, like in my private practice, I receive these especially from parents, where they have concerns with the schools, teachers. Now, in that kind of situation, where they haven't adapted to something of this sort, in whichever manner, again, not just mine, but somebody's, somebody, some kind of, so belongingness is not there, then it's not possible. Like one of the things that I found in my own, mental health sector is labeling, stigmatizing, yes, looking at others through the lens of weaknesses and problems. That's where exactly the problem is. This curriculum hits the very core. That's why it is sustainable, because it hits. Honestly, I have had a fight at NCERT with the director that you're not understanding what I'm trying to say. And then I had my presentation, and later on they they said that, oh, we understand what you're trying to say through this, but it's not possible to put it in the textbook for us. And that was in 2016. 2016, yes, 2016. That it's not possible for us to put such things in the textbook. So that's where this humanness come into picture. That how can we make it sustainable is by making sure that I am that person who doesn't stigmatize. I am that person who is aware. Again, it's not possible to be without judgment, because judgment is the basic human nature. Without judgment, we will not be, as humans or anybody, will not be able to survive. If we cannot judge, we cannot distinguish between what is healthy for us and what is not, we cannot survive. Now, at that basic level, judgment is important. But are we aware? If we can just make ourselves aware of our own biases, our own shortfalls, our strengths, very important, because that's what we have. I see that we have missed out majorly. I struggled with it myself for so many years, this whole narrative that we carried, especially after the wars across the globe, that, I'm not enough. That basic statement in itself is not correct, because I am here, you are here only because you are enough. That's why. And that when we hit that basic understanding, that basic perception about ourselves, we bring a change. And that's what I think you guys are doing it as well through this platform, that hitting that, collecting, hitting, triggering those people, those moments, those categories, those labels, everything that we want to say, we're hitting those marks, we're leaving a memory that can eventually, since we have a lot of negative emotions, negativity, and we carry that with us, there's a lot of positivity that we have that we carry with us. And that's what we are trying to make sure, that even if that one interaction leaves, that we have, it leaves a mark. And that's how we ensure the sustainability. Even if, that this whole concept doesn't materialize with a particular school, where I know that I have left a mark on that person who interacted with me. Maybe they didn't have the capacity to make that decision for the whole school, which is perfectly fine. But that one person is left with that memory of hope. And that's all that I think is what I can really do, if I can leave that hope inside. That's it. Thank you very much. I hope I could answer that question.
every point's amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. We have Daniel Sunday sharing, hi everyone. Happiness should be felt during learning both by the students and the teacher. Hence, happiness curriculum is important. Then we have Didi Bell, greetings from Louisiana, US. Hello everyone, looking forward to your session, Dr. Manpreet Kaur. Hope Didi enjoyed the presentation. Lauren MC says, I feel that this is so powerful. Just from a respect perspective, it creates a culture of learning in your classroom which transcends behavior and learning problems. I can see big things for the happiness curriculum. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. And Teacher Nisi Pearl says, totally agree with that. My students call me by my name. Lovely point. Lovely point. And thank you so much, everybody. If you have any questions for Dr. Manpreet, please unmute yourself. We do have another 6 minutes. And I can see Vanjil raising his or her hand. Hello, Vanjil. Is it possible? Is it possible?
And so is this something that is mentioned by somebody from Pakistan? And I really I think I want to address that part of malnutrition. I'm not able to read all of it right now, I must say. So there's another thing that I do through this curriculum is I address my own shortfalls. Right now I'm feeling anxious, like there's so much text and it feels something that needs to be read, and there's punishment, there's, the words that just trigger somebody. I want to pick up that malnutrition, and then, these words have a meaning. And if beyond going through the reports, if we can look at what we are trying to do. And as a teacher, what is it that I can do? People sitting somewhere, not ever stepping into the classroom, make such such big things, and then they ask us to follow, and how do we really cope up with all of those pressures? That's where what Anusha asked me, that and my response to it fits in, that just take the responsibility of yourself, that no matter what, I will not be unhappy because somebody else is unhappy with their job and they're trying to make my job a hell. I'll ensure that I am not unhappy. Now, there's this mention of malnutrition. See, the basic human nature is basic emotion. One of the basic emotions is joy. There is fear, there is sadness, there is anger. These are basic emotions. We cannot escape out of it. No matter what we do, we cannot really escape. All we can do is we can feel, we can flow, we can let it come to us, and then we must let it go through us. It comes and it goes. If we can just allow that flow, whatever we eat, I'm sorry, I'm going to say this in Hindi, because how we say it, in the Indian culture is कि जितना खाएंगे ना वो लगेगा. जो भी खाओ, it doesn't matter. Whatever you're eating, your body will adapt to it. Body will accept it, will embrace it. Malnutrition, yes, and we cannot fix all the problems with happiness culture. What we can do is, if we can experience joy with whatever we have, no matter how big, little, because then these are relative, like big and little are all relative terms. If we are not looking at through the lens of relativity, if we are not looking at our happiness through the lens of relativity, it makes sense that, yeah, I am responsible for my joy. Yes, there's, I don't have enough food to eat, but I don't have enough money. But I'm sure there is something that you have, that you can feel that, yeah, this is good. At least I have this. My eyes are working. At least I have this. My hands are working. Yes, we will fall in that trap of sadness, that trap of negativity, that trap of all the negative emotions. But if we can just let it flow during the classroom, and how do we let it flow? By addressing it, by being aware. Like I mentioned it, I saw like so many, big words, and they're like, and that's the first thing that I did. It's the live example. Address it. After addressing, you will see that your brain has started functioning. you'll be able to respond. Even in the classrooms, that happens. Like kids will ask such strange questions, and it's like, I'm spellbound now. What am I going to do? What I'm going to do is first I'm going to address that I'm spellbound. I don't know what to do. If I don't know, then I don't know. I can look for it and I'll get back to you. But then if I forget, that's something that happens to me often. I also, labels that I also carry are ADHD, autism, learning disability, which is dyscalculia. And I address it directly in the classroom. Then, I might forget. I'm so sorry. I forget. I have a tendency to not really remember. Could you help me? And kids are more than happy to jump and take the responsibility. Yeah, I can do that for you. I can help you remember. I have kids in the classroom reminding me, Miss MP, please take a deep breath. That's what we do. We initially it might hurt the ego, and that's the whole point of hurting our ego as adults. If we can just break our ego, it's difficult, very difficult, and especially in the classroom. But if we can do, because there are so many kids who have lesser ego than ours, who have smaller ego than ours, it becomes so much fun to really address the issues then and there. Yes, that's fine. Sorry. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, MP. We do have 12 more minutes. We have Veena Thamban sharing happiness is the theme for any good teaching and learning experience. Thank you, Veena. And we have TTF Resma Shuri sharing questioning, how do you see happiness curriculum applied to classes with large student strength?
Classes with?
How do you see, how do you see happiness curriculum being applied to classes with large student strength?
That's a very good question. Large student strength, again, is a relative word. Large, how many? Like I have worked with, so in a classroom, 60 kids, and we have delivered it flawlessly. Each kid has felt seen, has felt that they belong to that class, that their voice is heard. I said 60, 70, 80, not too much of a difference. Yes, it is possible. It's very much possible. How is, I'm sure as teachers, you have a lot of different strategies that, you're taught it based on, because every school has their own way of executing their curriculum. Without fudging with that, how is it possible is if you know that you are not biased, you're not biasing. And if you catch yourself biasing towards that, happens in the classroom when there are so many, I'm looking in one direction and I'm talking to those kids and it's like all of them are left out. As soon as I see myself, again, seeing yourself is very important. So it's not about them. That's why I said that it's about yourself. As soon as you see that, oh, I'm only looking at these kids, this side of the section is just, left out, then I'll quickly shift and then shift from here, then shift from there. And then I am looking into kids' eyes. We are able to cover as many people as we can. It's possible.
Thank you, MP. We have Prabha Muthukris. I'm not able to see your full name, Prabha. I'm really sorry. She shares, thank you, Miss MP. I think parents and teachers need this awareness. Wonderful listening to you. Let this reverberate and create ripples of happiness, making every soul existence the joy of life and relationship. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prabha. And she mentions, TTF Race Mastery mentions the classes for 70 to 80 students.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned that, the maximum that I have learned with 60. So 70, 80, similar kind of thing, not too much of a difference with that. And that's a technique. You look into their eyes. You have the courage to look into their eyes. And as an autistic, I can say that it's very difficult to look into each other's eyes. That's when I found out that if I remove that label, as a person, even if, it doesn't matter what labels you carry. If you are able to see through your own eyes in the mirror, it is possible that we can look into the eyes. When we look into somebody's eyes, what we are doing is we are directly connecting with them. We have to be true to ourselves. Only then we can actually look into somebody else, especially kids' eyes. So if you have been true to yourself, it doesn't bother how many people are there, how many kids are there. What you really need is to be able to look into their eyes, each one of them is what my suggestion would be. That's it. That's a secret technique that I use in my trainings.
Thank you, MP. You have 8 minutes left. And Ishita Chuk says, in my internship phase, I saw schools having just one period session over happiness curriculum. However, I believe that my kids should be happy for the whole day, not just for one session or one period. Also, there are few guidelines related to happiness curriculum by the government. Curriculum in itself is a wide term. How can then we see happiness being a part of the curriculum in a few decades? I would like to remind you, you have 8 minutes, MP. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anusha. So, Ishita, as I mentioned earlier, if you have heard that, so again and again, I have mentioned that this happiness curriculum is not about the large setup. It is about you. It is about that particular kid. If they understand that it is their responsibility to be happy, that's what they'll carry through it. Each one of us made decisions as kids that this is what I want to follow. We heard a lot of advices, but there are certain that we listen to, the certain that we don't. So how in not just decades, we intend to carry this forward for generations, that we want to make a genetic difference. That's why I'm again and again calling the memory part of it, that if we can tap into the memory, we can create a change over generations, and eventually it can actually be encoded in our DNA that we choose more to be happy over the negative emotions, which are again a part of our lives. So both where I would just mention the mythological part of, which is especially in the APAC region, we have almost every culture a part of this thing where there's this god and there's a demon, and we say that we have both of them inside us. So God, positivity; demon, negativity. We focus more on positivity, we move forward, we progress. We focus more on negativity, we don't progress, we don't move forward. So again, where you're mentioning about the government, I think what you maybe you're focusing on the Delhi government. I am sorry, I'm not a part of their, so I did not propose, I did not become a part of their version of happiness curriculum. It's their responsibility. I don't know what they are really doing, because it just doesn't seem right to get into somebody else's work and comment on it. So I'm sorry, this is what I do is what I'm focusing on here. I thank you.
Thank you so much, MP. Jyoti Gupta says, through the eyes is the beholder of all truth. That's so true. Thank you, Jyoti. Thank you so much. And Isita Chuk says, thank you. And we have Anita Singh mentioning, hello, everyone. Happiness is very close to my heart as a happiness coach. Wow. Just want to inform that I and my team of 7 members developed with HP Idea Innovation and Gratitude as Pedagogy. This led to our school winning the top 10 best school prize. Wow. Congratulations, Anita. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Very nice. And Anusha, I think this really answers one of the components of your question. Yes. Where how can we make it sustainable? It's like, this is the USP. The kids, like the schools that I work with, I don't ask them to share my name or something. It's there. They speak with their clients, so their direct clients are their parents and the kids' parents, and if the kids are happy, that's the USP. So it just sells itself. The schools get that, I would say they get that reward of this kind of work.
Thank you. Thank you so much, MP.